Decades in the making and finally told. From Wound to Scar is the powerful debut book by Marsha Perez. Written to help others heal through her gripping testimony. Join us for the official launch on the 29th of June at 2 p.m. at the Holy Ground in Soweto. 24456 Amonk Drive, Zone 6, Diepkloof, Soweto. Be part of this remarkable celebration.
When we say we are women, we mean that we are brave, we are strong, we are capable, we are unique, we are woman to woman.
Good afternoon, South Africa. Good afternoon, Africa. Good afternoon to you, to a very cold July for us in South Africa. Maybe the sun is shining there. Enjoy your sun while we enjoy the change of seasons. We welcome you to Woman. Welcome to the winter, Toko.
Thank you.
You don't feel like you're feeling very cold.
Not today. Thank you. Good afternoon to our viewers.
Today we are going to explore something that all of us struggle with, and it's called trust. By nature, we have some reserves about trusting someone else. But then once we give in, we become trusting, we have difficult to identify when trust was broken. I think all of us as women, and men as well, we struggle with trust issues from very young to mature, especially when relationships are broken, when we have disappointments with friends, with business partners. And today our focus is trust.
Yes. And it's true that it starts from a young age, because sometimes it's because something happened to you, then you decide not to trust everyone. So everybody has to suffer because of what happened to you. So it starts when we are young, men and women.
And today we welcome Nikki to the studios, who has experienced trusting, breaking trust, and how to learn to trust again. Do you identify yourself with that? Today, our show is going to be a learning curve for all of us. Welcome to Woman, Nikki.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Our pleasure is to have you here. Yes. And to, lead us to travel in your story, because your story shows the ups and downs of trusting, not trusting, rebuilding trust, and you're going to share all of that with our audience today. Where did it start?
Thank you. It started where I was married, and then I've got 2 kids. Then my husband passed on. Then now I had to raise my kids on my own now. When I was also still young, not know what I'm doing, it was just overwhelming.
Heartbreaking, I believe.
Yes, yes. And
how many years were you married for?
It was 6 years.
And all of a sudden he passed on,
yes.
And you were left alone with the kids.
I was left alone with the kids. So now, while I'm trying to deal with that, I was also at work. Every time when I'm trying to find closure, I'm trying to find happiness. I was in the church, but I wasn't that much serious. I didn't know what is it that is good for me. So yeah, then it happened whereby while we were still doing meetings at work, it happens this other guy that we were always talk together, sorting out problems together at work. Whenever I ask some issues, he will try to help me. Then it happened, he also told me his story. The guy was recently from a divorce. Yes. So now me and him were like sharing the same problems. it happens that we started to be more close, and then he started to propose to me, and I then agreed. And then, yeah, on the long run, while we were still seeing each other, because I didn't see anything that can block me to have him, then I was like, okay, maybe we can try this together. We did try that. We then decided to move in together.
I guess your identification point with him came from the vulnerability of both of you having had bad experiences. Yes. You had a good marriage, but he passed on. Yes. You were left with your kids, heartbroken. Yes. He was divorced, so yes. Also he had that difficult experience and heartbroken. Yes. You two thought that you would complete one another and help one yes. another to overcome. That's why you decided yes. to move in, not necessarily to get married.
Yes. We decided to move in. He had also 2 kids, but on his side, he was struggling also to see his kids. Mm-hmm. But with me, I had my kids. And also, I was also worried, what if I bring him and then my kids, they won't accept him, because they were still trying to figure out what happened to their dad. So it was that much, whereby I wanted to trust him. At the same time, I was not so sure what I'm doing. But it happened, we then moved in together. We find our own flat, whereby because he didn't want to stay in my flat, we went to a new flat. Things went very well. He was understanding. He was actually close to my kids. And it was just breaking me down to see him not able to see his kids. Mm. Yeah. And then it happened whereby we decided, okay, we will go to the school kids, whereby we will meet the kids there. We will arrange, if it means we arrange with the teachers so that we see his kids.
His own kids.
Yes, his own kids. We did that for a while, and then, yeah, that's the only time when you could see his kids. So time went by, and then I started to pick up that he is drinking. Mm. And then I was like, but why are you drinking like this? He said to me, you know what? My previous marriage was so unhappy, so I started drinking that time. But now that I have you, then I think I'm going to stop drinking. I'm working on stopping drinking.
So he was drinking actually, but you didn't know?
Yes, I didn't know. I picked up that he was drinking. Mm-hmm. While already I was with him, I moved in with him already, and he was smoking again. So those two already, it was a red flag. But I just didn't want to leave him and then try to explain again to my kids what is happening. So I told myself that maybe he will work on himself and things will go better. Little did I know that no, things are not getting better. Instead, he is now even comfortable drinking now that he knows that I know that he's drinking. Now he's just drinking, literal drinking.
Let us just make a point here. It was not social drinking. It was really heavy drinking.
I would say it was heavy drinking because, I mean, if you come from work, instead of you coming home to your family, you pass by drinking. And then you come home, you already drunk. Mm. So that was it. Then we pushed, and then we decided to make business. While I was working, he was working as well. On that moment, I then decided, let me leave my work and then start to focus on the businesses. I did that for a while he was still working. But on that moment, still, I had to trust him with the funds, that he's the one who will be doing the bankings and paying the guys who were working. Little did I know that this thing of him drinking, it makes him even to go for gambling. So now for him to feed all these things, that's when he started to use even the money for business now.
Would he tell you what he was doing?
No.
Or would he lie?
He would lie. He would lie. At some point, he will come and say, I tried to do the bankings, but there was an issue at the bank. You know, at some point, he will just tell me that, no, I've already did some payments. I've paid the rentals. I wouldn't check because I thought we were in the business together, and for the business to run, rent has to be paid. So I never thought he can do such. But
how did you find out? Or were those only his lies towards finances or anything else?
okay, I find out when now I got a call from the property that we were renting. The officers, they phoned us, they say, you guys, you are owing. How can you run a business for more than 2 months when you are owing? Then I had to fight with them and say, you guys, you must check properly your accounts, you must check properly, because as far as I know, we pay our rental every month. And I even say, no, I don't want to talk to you much. Let me gather my proof of payments,
Yes.
and then I send to you. That's when now I asked my husband to do so. My husband is a very intelligent person.
By then it was only your partner.
boyfriend, yeah.
Yes, yes. So he made his way and did his emails and explaining to them about the bank issues and everything. I don't know how did they understand that, but they did understand him. They gave us a little bit of time. Time goes on, still rent is not being paid. Now it was 4 months.
Sure.
And you didn't know?
I didn't know.
You were trusting him blindly with the finances?
Yes, I was.
When you realize rent is not yet paid, how was trust issue in your mind?
At that moment, I wasn't so sure because he could tell me the stories regarding the bank, regarding something must be happening that they are not noticing. So they gave us time to investigate while they're still investigating on their side.
How long up until this moment have you two been together and building your business?
Okay, I think in about 4 years we're together. I forgot to mention there when on this process he did pay lobola. So that
that made him your husband, culturally
yes,
speaking.
that made me
Lobola,
to be,
Toko, let us explain for our audience out of Africa.
Lobola is dowry, because everybody knows it as dowry. In the Bible, it's written dowry.
Yeah.
So it's dowry. And in many countries, especially African countries, if the dowry is paid, even the government recognizes that this is marriage. Because there is marriage in the home affairs, there is marriage of only paying dowry, customarily marriage. So that is the kind of marriage they had.
yes.
So up until this moment, for 4 years, they were able to build trust, to build a relationship, and they were actually moving in the direction of becoming a family.
Yes.
Now, I want you to check this. How long does it take for you to build trust? And also, how long does it take for trust to be broken? Let us watch together.
Trust. It's more than just a word. It's that quiet, powerful force holding our relationships, our communities, even whole systems together. But have you ever really paused to ask yourself, what does it mean to trust? At its core, trust is about believing that someone or something will show up, follow through, and not let you down. It's about feeling safe, secure, understood. Trust in people. Sometimes trust means believing in someone's goodness, that they'll be honest with you, treat you fairly, and have your best interest at heart. Other times, it's about their capability, knowing they'll get the job done, keep a promise, or handle what you've entrusted to them. Trust in relationships. Whether it's with family, friends, or colleagues, trust is the foundation. Without it, connection crumbles. But when it's there, it creates space for real closeness, openness, and mutual growth. Trust to function. Trust isn't just personal, it shows up in how we operate in the world. We trust that a red light means stop for everyone, that our passwords protect our accounts, that banks won't disappear with our money overnight. From everyday decisions to life-changing ones, trust helps us to navigate with confidence. Financial trust. Every time we swipe a card, bank online, or invest in something, we are placing trust in a system. We believe that our money is safe, that transactions are secure, and that the people or platforms we're trusting won't misuse what's ours. When that trust is broken, the impact is personal and widespread. Legal trust. In legal terms, a trust is a formal arrangement where one party, the trustee, holds and manages assets for another, the beneficiary. Even in this structured context, trust is still at the core. Confidence, responsibility, and the promise to protect what matters. Whether it's in people, systems, or society, trust quietly shapes how we connect, how we cooperate, and how we grow. It's deeply human and it's fragile. So here's a real question for you. Who or what do you trust? And how does that shape the life you're building?
Yeah, you see how important it is to build trust, but also it's easy to lose it. It's really easy for trust to be shattered, and to rebuild it again, it becomes very difficult. So with Nikki, I think this is the point now where you are. You are at that point now that I've lost trust in this relationship, isn't it?
Yes. Even though I still had hope, but I could pick a lot of things that were still a red flag. So on that moment, that's when I had to start to think, what else to do now?
What else did you pick up? What other lies or which other factors that you were not aware of and all of a sudden in front of you?
Okay, the other factor that made me to be, I think that one is the real one that made us to separate. It is when my father passed on. I went to bury my father, and then he was supposed to remain behind with the business and pay the staff.
Taking care of everything.
Yes. So when I came back, whilst I was on my way, the staff had to call me and say, but we haven't got paid and we still have to pay our rent. We don't have money. Then I was like, no ways. When I phoned him, he still made some excuses. Yeah. That moment, that's when I was like, no, enough is enough now.
Did you feel that you were betrayed? Up until then, you didn't pick up any other woman in his life?
No. He was not a womanizer. He was not that type of a person that I could say I've got issues with women. I only had issues with him drinking and start to lie.
Do you know that this is called financial adultery? Many people were not acquainted with this understanding. Because when we think about adultery, we think about physical adultery. You have someone in your life. But financial adultery is also infidelity from the sense that whatever they were building together, whatever they purposed for the business, all of a sudden the funds were being used for something else which she was not aware of. And the problems were escalating. First was the issue of the rental. Then you had problem with paying the employees. How about your house rental and provision for the house? Food, school for the kids, his kids, your kids?
Okay, in terms of in the house, because I was working, I was paying the rentals and I was providing for the food. And he was also helping here and there, but his main focus was in the business. Yes. What triggered for me also, he phoned me at some point and say, I want to take my car somewhere for them to keep it because I want to buy some parts of the car to be fixed. I said, but why don't you wait? We have money and then we can take the car there. Little did I know when I come from work, I found the car was gone. So he told me that the car is kept somewhere.
It's being fixed.
Yes. And then I tried by all means to find out where is the car, only to realize that he took it to a place whereby he takes some money there, then they hold the
Call
car.
it mashonisa here.
Yes, I think
Something
it's those
like
mashonisa
that,
that,
yes.
yeah. So now for him to take back his car, he needs to pay them
An interest.
with an interest.
Yeah.
And now he's not affording.
Up until this moment, were you still blinded with trust for his financial decisions?
That moment I was no longer trusting him. But
Did you ask to see the books, for instance?
I did. But there will be stories after stories, and then that's when we started to fight. Then when we started to fight, I started not to consider him as my husband. I started to consider, I remember at some point I told him that, which means you are my enemy, because now I'm dealing with you, you are my enemy. He would like, no, I don't give him respect, things like that, where it was
Excuses
a back and forth.
to justify his mistakes, to divert.
Yes. So that
How
moment,
did you feel? Honestly speaking, because I mentioned about financial adultery, and when women speak how they felt betrayed, others don't get, but he doesn't have another one.
Yeah.
However, he broke the trust you have blinded put upon him.
Yeah.
How did you feel?
I felt so angry about myself, about the choices that I made. I felt like I can actually reverse everything. But sometimes when you seek advice from other people, they will tell you that, what, things will change. You need to work on, because now if you change this man, now you must introduce another man to your kids. So now I was looking all this situation, I was like, oh my God, so what is this that is happening? That's when it came to a point that no, it's better I become my own without a husband. It's better he sort out himself, I sort out myself. Then he moved, he went to his family house.
How did it affect the kids? Because they were now close to him, isn't it? Your children.
Yes.
Yeah.
My daughter, because she was so close to him, sometimes he will try to get hold of me, and then he will phone, and then he want to speak to my
Yes.
kids. He want to speak to my daughter. He will want to take her out. Because my daughter, she was close to him, she will agree, she will go with him, and then I will just release her to go. But sometimes my kids will also ask, but what's happening? Why is he like this? What's going to happen? So now I have to answer to my kids. I have to answer to everybody. It was too much for me. It was actually too much for me. At the same time, I have to deal with the debt that I'm left with in the business, because
He was not running the business anymore.
No, he was
So
not.
now he left all the trouble on your shoulders.
Yes. On everything, it was on me. And that moment, it was a very serious problem, because on his side also, he was no longer working. It was only him. And people, the friends that used to be with him,
yeah,
now that he's no longer working,
nowhere to be
they are
found.
nowhere to be found. He is on his own now. The only person now he knew, it was me. So
But you wouldn't trust on him anymore.
I wouldn't trust on him. I will try to help him when he's that far, not with me.
Close to you.
Yes. So I managed to make arrangements with the company that we're paying rent to, so that I can try to pay the rental for 4 months. I can say it's 5 months, including the month that I'm in and the previous 4 months. So, lucky enough, it happened. They agreed.
I wanted to know if this experience would affect somehow your perception of trusting in other people. Maybe even your kids, when they would tell you something. Would you believe them, or how did it change your approach to other people's words, commitments, promises, whatever?
It did change a lot because now I don't trust anyone at that moment. Even the people that trying to show love to me, I would not trust because I had to look at my life that people, when they see my husband and me, who used to know us, they could see a happy couple. But whilst I'm dealing with a lot that no one will know what I'm going through. So even at work, I will still be the same Nikki. I will even try to advise other people, but knowing very well that on my side, I'm actually even worse than the person that I'm advising. And at some point, I'll look at my kids and I would like, what advice can I give to them when it comes to relationship? More especially my daughter. I don't know what to give because I don't have either. So it was so terrible.
So you never even trusted your own judgment?
Yes, I didn't trust my own judgment.
How long now? You remember you said that before Miss Massa asked you this question, you said that you would help your husband even though you were not together anymore. How long did it go? Like for you helping him, did you come to a point that, no, I don't want to help him anymore?
It went for about 2 to 3 months. Then it happened, he found a job. So he didn't have money to go to that job. So that's when I will be helping him so that he can be able to start his own life and work. Yeah.
In your mind, that was the end.
In my mind, that was the end.
Let me just help him so that he can start his own and get far away from me.
Yes, because, I think as ladies, we have that long heart whereby sometimes even someone hates you, you can still feel that remorse and let me just help. Unlike men, when they can forget about you, they can cut. I think there's this thing whereby, I felt like I'm obligated. But in your mind,
it was very clear. I'm helping him to start again.
Then that's it.
And that's it.
That's it, yes.
We don't have anything in common.
Exactly.
Yes.
Go your ways, I'll go my way. That was your state of mind.
That was my state. Because he would also push, because he would say to me, but Nikki, you can't leave me like this. Remember, we are in this together. We started a business together.
What was not true, because you were not drinking in together. You were not gambling together.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the truth. We wanted to be very realistic because it's very easy for people to justify their mistakes, to victimize themselves.
Gaslighting people.
Divert from their guilt, their blame.
True.
To show that maybe you were part of that.
Yes.
But as a matter of fact, as you have been following up to now, she was not part of the lies. She was not part of the mismanagement. She believed in him because up until then he had her trust. At this stage, trust was broken completely. Now we leave a question: is it possible to rebuild? You're going to find out. But before Toku, we have prepared something about the side effects of infidelity.
Yes.
Though this is not really a physical infidelity, there was infidelity.
Exactly, as you had explained it before, because it is, you build things together, then the other one is deceiving you. So that is infidelity as well. Let us watch what infidelity can cause or how it will affect you emotionally. So let's watch this.
Betrayal cuts deep because it breaks something we all need: trust. When that's gone, you're left feeling unsafe, confused, and hurt in ways that are hard to put into words. Violation of trust. Trust is what holds relationships together with friends, family, or someone you love. When someone you counted on turns out not to be who you thought, it can feel like the rug's been pulled out from under your feet. Everything feels shaky. Emotional distress. Betrayal hits hard emotionally. You might feel shocked, angry, hurt, sometimes all at once. It can leave you feeling stuck, like you're just trying to keep your head above waters while your emotions keep crashing in. Psychological damage. When the betrayal comes from someone close, or it happens more than once, it can leave real emotional scars. You might start feeling anxious all the time, fall into depression, or feel like you're constantly waiting for something else to go wrong. Damage to self-esteem. A lot of people blame themselves after being betrayed. You might think, I should have known better, or how did I let this happen? It can make you feel embarrassed, not good enough, or even question your own worth. Physical health impacts. It's not just your head. The stress can wear your body down too. Trouble sleeping, constant fatigue, headaches, stomach issues. Your body feels the weight of it just like your heart does. Impact on relationships. After you've been hurt, letting people in again can feel nearly impossible. You might become distant, overthink everything, or expect the worst, even when there's no reason to. It's self-protection, but it can push people away too. Brain and body changes. Betrayal can actually change how you respond to things. You might be quicker to shut down or react strongly to small things. It's like your mind and body are always on guard, even when you don't want to be. Feeling used or manipulated. One of the hardest parts is realizing you were used. Like your time, your effort, or your love didn't really mean anything to them. That kind of hurt stays with you. Betrayal doesn't just end when it happens. It shifts how we see people, how you move through the world, and how you protect yourself. But healing is possible. With time, honesty, and support, you can rebuild what was broken, especially the trust you have in yourself.
I guess, Nikki, that was your stage.
Yes, that was my situation, whereby now everything was just, he's doing his own thing, I'm doing my own thing. And I can say we were in a relationship outside there, but reality, we were not in a relationship anymore.
So he was living in his parents' house, he started working, and you were trying to reverse the damage, the financial damage to the business, and live your life.
Yes, he did. And at that moment, he managed to move closer to his workplace. So now he was living on his own, while I was still trying to build or to sort out the damage.
Did you think in your mind that that's the end, it will never be fixed anymore?
I had hope. I had hope because the only hope that I had, it was the business that I knew. I started that business from the scratch. So I cannot, a relationship can go, but my business cannot go. That was me. I will try by all means to make sure the business be sustained. So that moment, when everything was looking as if it is so difficult, nothing will be repaired, that's when I remember that before everything else, I used to go to church, I used to pray, I used to ask God to guide me, and I used to see the power of God. That's when I started to use my faith now and say, this business, I'll never lose this business. I'll make sure that the business goes. And it happened like that because I started to make arrangements. And one thing that made me to be more strong to have faith in God is because I tried to ask help from other people. People they will promise
and not fulfill.
And I remember one other lady, she said to me, you know what, I'm willing to help you. And then I put everything in her. I said, okay. But only to find that no, she actually wanted to take over the business. She wanted at first to be a partner with me, not just helping. But because I wanted that business to be mine, just help that I need, I had to say no. Let me look up into God and then make sure I sort out everything on my own with God. And it happened, the business started to pick up. And I started to look at myself and I started to free because I had this anger inside. I had this, I'm feeling like I'm different from other people. I started to trust in myself again. even now at that moment, when I'm talking to him, there was this forgiveness.
You would still talk to him,
We were
but you didn't want him in your life.
I didn't want him in my life. We're still talking. We're still talking because he would also tell me that, you know what, in all honesty, I've got no one to talk to, more especially when I need help. I don't have anybody that will help me. The people that I used to spend money with, the people that I used to make sure whenever they are in trouble, I rush there, they are nowhere to be found.
So meaning that the saying that says when friends
or
when days are dark,
yes,
friends are few. So it really became realistic in his life. It materialized.
Yes.
But that is the truth for all of those who believe so much in friendship, not knowing what their friends are made of. Because while there is interest, they'll be there. Maybe when you change your mind or you wanted to go another direction or you are in those dark days, friends are no longer.
Are nowhere to be found.
That's true. Yeah, at that moment, I had to encourage him to do the same because I'm now relying on God. I'm putting all my trust in God. I told him that, you know what, stop trusting your friends. Where are they now? Please learn to trust in God. And he understood that because I remember him promising me that, you know what, when are the services in church? What time? I want to start going to church. He will go, he will sometimes phone me and say, you know what, I'm from church. And I'm like, wow.
Did you believe him in that moment?
wanted to ask the same question.
In all honesty, at that moment, I said, wow, I'm sure God is working. But at the same time, I'm like, wait, what if he's lying?
Is it just to impress
me?
me?
Yes, he just make me to feel happy and to bring him back to me again.
But at this stage in your mind is, good for you, you're going to church, you're going to build your life.
Yes.
You would never consider we are going to build together.
I never considered that. I just wanted him to stand because on the other hand, what was a fear on my side, I was thinking, oh, people who used to see us together working, now he's not working, I'm not with him, they will, because they don't know the story, they'll be like, oh, so this lady, his man is no longer working. She left the man because the man is no longer working. So I really wanted to see him working. I really wanted to see him improving his life.
You're rebuilding his relationship with God.
But for the credibility of the business.
Not necessarily for the business. Just
for your peace of mind.
Yes, I wanted to have that peace of mind, and I didn't want people to think
you left to him because he doesn't have money.
Yes.
I understand, because it's very common that this happens.
True.
So he started going to church. What happened then?
He started going to church, and then it happened where he got promoted in his company. Things were started to open up again with him, and then he was sent to Durban to go and work there. So now he's like to me, Nikki, I'm going to start a new life there. I don't know anything. Will you accompany me so that we'll buy some things of the house and everything? I want you to be in charge and everything because I can't see myself having somebody to do that. Only you.
At that moment, had he stopped drinking, or was he still drinking?
At that moment, he will say he has stopped drinking, he has stopped smoking. But because I was not spending time with him, I wouldn't know. I will just talk over the phone. He will tell me that. He will even count for me that, you know what, now it's 3 weeks, I'm not smoking at all. Now it's the 1 month, things like that, So I would like, okay, I'm taking your word, but I'm not 100% sure that what you are telling me is the truth. What if you are saying that because you want to bring me close to you? But it happened that time, I had to agree to go with him to
Love
Durban.
is blind.
As a friend.
As a friend.
To help him to put up the house.
Yes, because...
you see that today infidelity and not trusting will finish with a love story. Let us wait and see.
Love is blind.
That's true, because even the position that he was in, he was supposed to change his wardrobe. So I'm the only person who can help him to do that.
Yeah.
We went together, we did shopping of his wardrobe, and then we packed everything. We were now talking, going to church. When I'm going to church this side, he goes to church that side. He will tell me that today we were talking about this and that and that. And as you know, in
Yeah,
our
it's
church, everything
universal.
is the same. So I will see, oh, it's the same. Then which means he's telling the truth. So make sure that you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for me. Because I mean, if you do it for me, if I'm nowhere to be found, then
You'll
which
go
means you're
back.
going to stop. Yeah. So it started like that. I didn't want to put completely myself to him, because
to
I
give him
still want
hope.
to, yes, I still want to see if he's really
Yeah.
changing.
Would you have those moments that you would say, this guy's changing? No, I don't think so. I will find his true color soon. Those
Yes,
thoughts.
true.
The battle in your mind.
That's very true. I will make sure that everything I need to check. I remember some time when he comes from work, if he quickly goes to the bathroom to shower, in my mind I'm like, what if he was smoking? He's trying to get rid of the,
the
smell
smell,
and
yeah.
everything. Then he will be like, no, I'm not. I'm just showering because I'm tired. I'm from work. Yeah, so it took me time to start really to trust him again.
I guess, it's my guessing, that we are going to conclude with a love story. Was it possible to rebuild trust?
I can say it is not easy. It wasn't easy,
But it was possible.
but it is possible.
So he was actually going to church, he was honoring his word, and you were this side. He was there in Durban.
Yes. And the communication there was a big improvement in terms of communication. So that made me to understand him better. I will know what is happening that side. He will know what is happening this side. We started to make plans while he was still that side and I'm this side. Plans of where to go now, what is it that we need to do for us, because we were working on being together. So what is it that we need to do? What is it that we need to stop? What is it that we need to change? We
to improve.
Yes, we started to talk
Now
about
you
those
started discussing a possible relationship, but in the light of intelligent faith.
things. Yes, that's true. That's correct.
Did it happen?
It did happen. It did happen because even me, being comfortable now, I started to visit him more often in Durban. Yeah. And then whenever he want to do something this side, he will also come, and then he will still come to my place, because we were discussing, should he go and find his own place, or should he...
So now he wanted to come back to Joburg.
That moment, he didn't want to come back to Joburg. We were still having this thing of me going there, him coming that side. But I don't know what happened. It happened that at
No,
his
we also
workplace.
wanted to know what happened. That's the part of the story we wanted to know. We promised a happy ending here.
Yeah. So at his work, things that the company promised, they didn't keep up to their promises. They started to have these issues. Then it happened, it was December time when he came for holidays. So they were still sorting those issues. While they were trying to sort out these issues, he was waiting for them. He started to let me try my luck, let me apply for other opportunities and see what's going to happen. Because I believe he was now trusting God. Yes. God answered him. He managed to find a better job this side in Joburg. That's the time now he had to resign, and then he came back to Joburg. That moment, we were together now. That's when we decided, okay, now that you're in Joburg, I think it works in our favor. We can start to do things together.
How did the kids feel when they saw you together, back together?
They were so happy because, like I said, that he never stopped talking to the kids. Even when he was in Durban, he was still talking to the kids. So him coming back for the kids, it was something that they really loved to see him with us back together. Yeah, they took it very well.
How about the business?
Okay, the business, he said to me, I don't want to jump in because I know you might not trust me, but I will help you wherever you can. The business is your baby because he's got his job.
So now the two of you run the business, but you are checking on things and trust was rebuilt.
Yes.
Now you trust him.
Now I do trust him because everything is transparent. When he goes to work, we communicate. When he comes
How
from work,
long
we
are you
communicate.
together now?
Now it is 6 years.
6 years. Back from Durban.
I can say it is actually more than 6 years. From Durban. No, from Durban is now a year.
A year.
Yes, it is
All
now a
right.
year.
That's great.
It is now a year.
So we can conclude saying that to build trust is difficult, to break it,
It's easy.
it's
easy.
very quick.
Very quick.
To rebuild, it's a long process.
Yes.
But it is possible. Why this is possible? Because there was one missing in the equation.
No, he wouldn't. Because even neither myself, I tried to trust on myself. On my own, it was very much difficult.
Yeah.
It was very much difficult.
And that leads us to God's point in this. Today I wanted to share with you a passage of the Bible. Through this passage, David was pouring out his disappointment, his frustration. He was pointing out the feeling that one has when there is betrayal of any sort. So we're going to read from Psalm 55:15 that goes like this. Think about King David writing this piece, this verse, and how much grief and pain and sorrow he was carrying in that moment. He starts like this, but it was you, a man my equal, my companion and my acquaintance. We took sweet counsel together, and we walked to the house of God in the throng. He was talking about a friend, a counselor, someone who was more like of a father to him, and all of a sudden that person betrayed him, broke his trust, and made him completely devastated. Now you think about a relationship in marriage, in dating, family bond, and someone betrays. How hard it is for someone to be able to trust on that person again. Because all facts or circumstances will always prove that you are wrong, that you were blind, that you just did not notice the signs, that you overlooked reactions, behaviors. And of course, when someone is betrayed, and I'm not only talking about marriage, but betrayed in any sense, the person ends up losing trust in herself, in her judgment, in her perception. But it is possible to rebuild it. As we said about Nikki, it's only possible if you embrace God in the occasion. The first thing you need to do is not to trust on your own judgment and to be doubting everyone else. Is to say, God, guide me. Don't allow me to be deceived again by my feelings, by my perception, by my conclusions, by my judgment. And when you see someone who's really wants to build back that trust, and you see the person is first trusting God, then you can make an allowance. Because David, he said, we would walk to the house of God together. We would seek for sweet counsel, even though you betrayed me. But when the person has really embraced God as the first one in his or her life, then God will be the bond, will be the link to trust. And of course, being hurt, you have to start trusting on yourself again, not on your own decisions, but in God's decisions for you. Today we see that Nikki rebuilt her life, but God had to be the centerpiece. Without him, it's very difficult to trust in people. Talk what it all means for today.
Yeah, Mrs. Marsha. What it all means, all that I can say is that for those that have hurt others, betrayed others, maybe you are there beating yourself up, saying that I will never be able to rebuild my relationship with my siblings, my friends, my colleague at work. Maybe you betrayed someone. What I can say today to you is that start inside of you. Remember what Nikki said. When they had that separation, her and the husband was in Durban and she was this side of Johannesburg. But what you notice when she was speaking is that her husband was making amends. He was trying, he was doing his part. And when he was doing his part, it was not for him to get back together with her. He was working on himself. So I say to you, work on yourself, because sometimes we get worried of, I want to be trusted again, I want to be trusted again, but you do not change. And if you don't change, what will happen is that you might be forgiven and trusted again, but you will repeat the same mistake because you never looked in yourself and change. Because it's hard to rebuild a relationship that was betrayed, where you were lied to. But it's so easy to break that trust. So build yourself inside, and you know that when you are a liar, when you betray someone, especially when you lie, what happens is that even when you are telling the truth, you will never be believed, because people know that you are always lying. And that moment, maybe you need someone to believe in you and you are telling the truth. But because you always betray people, you lie to them, then nobody will trust you even when you are telling the truth. So work in yourself instead of worrying who's going to forgive me, my friend or my sister. Work on yourself, then forgiveness will come and you will rebuild the relationship again. And you who were like lied to, maybe someone betrayed you, you see through the testimony of Nikki that it's possible. It's not easy, it's hard, she said, but it's possible to rebuild the relationship again. So that's what I can say.
And for that to happen, of course, how can you achieve it if not embracing God in your life? I would like to pray for you. Actually, I would like to pray for two groups: those who have been betrayed and those who have betrayed. Shall we pray? Our Lord and our Father, we have spoken today about trust, and we know the pain of being betrayed. We know the pain of have been heartbroken. And now I understand the mindset of that person who looks around and tries to protect herself from every lie. And she ends up believing that every person is lying, is trying to take advantage, and will deceive her. She lives in total turmoil, and that led her not even to trust her own decisions. She lives in insecurity, always hoping for the worst. And today, we try to show that you are the way out. So right now, my Lord, help her to work in herself, to understand, yes, there are people out there for not knowing much, not knowing you. They will end up betraying, deceiving, frustrating, but not every person is the same. And the change needs to start inside of her, making a partnership with you to guide her in her choices, in her dealings, in her relationships and decisions. I also pray for those who right now are regretting because they lost trust somehow. They did something that they lost the trust of the family. They are not believed in their relationships, and they have lost credibility in their workplace. They regret their wrongdoings, and they think, I will never be able to conquer people's trust again. Here we are to say, if you embrace God, and if you are sincere, you make amendments in your life, God, our Father, is ready to help you. Father, embrace this person right now with the sense, with the knowledge, with the notion that through you we can be trusted. So I bless both groups who are watching us today. The one who has lost trust, the other one who is trying to build trust, knowing that the direction to go is to embrace you. So I bless them with the understanding and with the assurance that they can rebuild trust. They can trust again, and they can be trusted all over again. So I pray in Jesus' name, Amen.
Amen.
To speak about trust is difficult. And before we go, I just would like you to know a little bit more about From Wound to Scar. I speak about betrayal, I have been betrayed, and I relate on how to conquer trust in myself and in others again. So if you did not know about the book, here it is, now available in South Africa and Africa, and I pray that this book will help you as much. As for now, thank you very much, Nikki, for coming and sharing that your job, not your job, your company may prosper, but above all, your relationship, your marriage, and God.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Until next week, we come back with Woman to Woman. God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.